Mr. Wolverton?
Here.
Yeah, okay.
Mrs. Gear? Mr. Sims?
Good to know.
Oh, Gear's here, sorry.
Mrs. Nelms?
Here.
And Mr. Harden?
Here.
We have four.
All right, thank you. Can we have a motion to dispense the reading and approval of the minutes from July 10th?
So moved.
Second.
Counselor Harden with the motion, second by Counselor Gear. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is 4-0. We have no old business, so we're going to new business. 050723, request permission to work in the right of way at 306 Kenilworth Drive. Father Nature and Cale Smith.
Y'all been very patient.
Brian, can you start off with a street view of the site? So this is 306 Kenilworth, just before it tees into Roseland, or Y's into Roseland. Brian's gonna pull up the street view, but so in 2002, there was an indemnification that was granted between the current property owner and the city council. They gave the homeowner permission to pave the unopened alley at the time that was trees and weeds and stuff. So she could pave it to get to an accessory structure in the back. So now she's coming back, and Father Nature's here, David and Stanford are here to talk about what she wants to do in the right of way. Yeah, so that's Kenilworth up here. This is the area that was paved, and she has an indemnification agreement for that. She wants to do stormwater infrastructure down here to protect her property from runoff that's coming from the Roseland houses, which is beneficial. And then she also wants to do a planter in the back of the alley.
Yes, sir.
Is that
correct?
did I?
Yes, sir. That's correct. I mean, you want me to explain? Or?
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Here,
so
Walter, have him sign.
from,
So this is that alleyway that runs off Kenilworth behind the houses that front
Roseland.
Roseland.
That's
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It dead ends into another right of way that the city has. The only purpose is to access
That one thing.
her house and her paid parking pad in the back.
At this time.
Well, doesn't it hit this house right here on the right?
It hits this one.
That's the,
Is that hers?
Perdurbers, no, that's the
not hers.
Perdurbers house.
Hers is on the left.
The
Hers is
Perdurbers
there.
house is one of those.
But basically past this driveway here,
Everything else is hers.
it's, yeah.
and that's her primary path, which you were referencing in the beginning. The accessory structure is a garage for her, so this is her main path of what she enters into the property each and every day. And she hired us to come in and, obviously help her improve the property. We started on the north property line just because that is, that's her path of entry, how she gets in to her house every day. She had made some improvements on the side. There's
I have a pointer.
Yeah, so right here, the whole reason for doing this, which was mentioned, there's some significant drainage issues that come in erosion from the slope. As you can see, it grades off pretty good. So we're gonna come in and proposing to help correct that as there was a little bit of cleaning done through here. There was some drain pipes that were found coming from different properties, and as we were able to get some of even more debris than you see here, there's significant erosion and water that's going on. Matter of fact, even to a point where she's had some foundational issues and water issues on the inside. With that being said, she was hoping to be able to improve this at least to the degree. This is as I said, right here is an entry, and what we were proposing, and we've got a sketch and some plans for it, was to come in and drainage to the back, drainage to this point here. You can see right here where you've got washout right here. We were gonna come in, and I believe there's 4 pipes that are coming in and causing a lot of that, and we're gonna mitigate it with a drain line to be able to get to this point, then run off, and then try to improve this. Since this is her main path to get into her house, just try to improve that a little bit.
And Cal, that's all right away too? That does not belong to those homeowners that front Roseland?
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah, basically everything to the fence
okay,
on the right.
okay.
And so again, do you wanna look at the landscape plan?
Yeah,
or is that-
Brian has the plan. Both of them. I think this is the drainage plan.
Oh, yeah, there we go. So, I guess I did not see it. So, there we go. All right, so this area that you see here was one of her improvements. This is her way into the house. Pretty traditional down from here and here. What she was asking for was just traditional plantings. But in keeping with some of the architecture that you see here on the house, she was asking if we could come in and create some planters that would be removable. These would be timbers, like 6x6 timbers that were put in. They wouldn't be cemented in or anything like that, could be removed. Part of it too is would have been here tonight as well, but she had some health issues. She fell and broke her knee. And so anyway, that's part of it too, was for her to be able to just kind of access this and have a couple of little planters that she could not have to kneel down and just be able, she likes gardening and stuff, so that's kind of what we were trying to achieve with these planters that you see. This is just an idea sketch. This right here, these panels at the top, that's not part of the scope. It would be just these little planters, and that's just a little illustrative image of a couple of timbers tall, but that's what she's asking for.
And those are, the planters, are they adjacent to the house? I can't see, is this fence?
Yeah, so they are, could we go back to the computer generated plan, the one we had, or just zoom in, I guess? There we go. Yeah, so the planters are this right here is what you see right here.
Okay,
And then you look out to this space,
Okay.
which is right here.
yeah.
And then what she's looking to do is planter 1 right here and planter 2
Oh, over there against
right
the fence,
there.
okay.
Just
got it.
against the fence. And as I said, we even came up with the construction of that, knowing that it was y'all's property, that it would be something that if ever, anything that ever did became moved, I mean, all we're talking about some timbers and
That could just come right.
that could come right out. And that would help her a lot for, like I said, just from her physical condition.
So I'm kind of confused. So is part of this on the back side of the neighbors across the alley? Or is all of it on her side?
It's all on our right of way.
It's all in our right of way.
But I mean, which side of that?
It is behind their, I think it is behind.
Yeah, so here's all the adjacent property, the
So
rear
it's all
property lines.
behind other people's fences?
Right, that's all, this is a fence and this is a fence, this would all be behind.
But where was the planter gonna go in that image?
Right along the
Let's see if, there's another one that it showed exactly.
Just on the other side of the tree
Yeah.
that's behind the gravel.
Right, like.
On that side
there.
and that's gonna stick out how far?
Right, it would, I had, a little brick edge that was just set in sand, and, they're about, it's 6 feet from here to here, they would come out 5 feet. from
So
the property.
within the right of way.
Right.
It's
and-
not sticking
and
out.
What's beyond where we can see in the image there to the left?
That's going into a
Back
garage.
here,
Garage.
this is her, yeah.
Oh, that's her
Garage.
garage, I gotcha.
Yeah, so she's just trying to,
Couldn't see that.
she's trying to, I think y'all actually even allowed her, this is y'all's easement, my understanding, this is y'all kind of, some of y'all's easements back here too, and she had come in and y'all granted her, access to be able to put some of that concrete down to be able to access the garage.
She's not gonna drive back there. She won't be able to drive back there with the planters there, or she will.
Oh, no,
She
she
will
will
be
be
able
able
to
to,
turn
all
around.
this will be,
Yeah, that's
this
what
will
I'm
be.
saying.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not cutting
No,
off
no, no, no.
access.
There,
There's
it's
no
in the
access.
right of way, like it's in
All
that
this-
grass space.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just,
Like
It's
right
not, it's
there.
not protruding
Cleaning
out
up
into
all
the.
no, it's all that,
Oh, I
it
see.
would, this is from this point at the asphalt to the fence line is 6 feet, and it would be 5 feet, cause I wanted to drop it back just a little bit so it wouldn't pinch it down, you know, it wouldn't get, but.
And did you say she had talked to her neighbors about this? Has she talked to them about that?
I think she's talked with a couple of neighbors, but from a standpoint of this, I'm not sure if she's talked with her neighbors on that or not.
I mean, they're clearly
It's
not
not their
accessing
property.
anything from the backyard.
And there's no city we don't have to access that for any reason, or, yeah, okay. Isn't it kinda common to talk to neighbors if you
I
wanted?
would want to be, I would want someone to tell me that they're
Yeah.
gonna be right
May
outside my.
may I?
Yes.
So.
It's Stanford Davidson.
I'm Stanford Davidson with Father Nature, and I've been representing Dr. Salzman as I've met with the zoning department here. And, she has some serious issues with drainage. It's not really captured in any of these photos, but it's captured in these that were taken on, Saturday at 7 a.m. after we had that last storm. So as a temporary fix, what we've done is we've, dug a trench the length of, the drive up to the apron at the neighbor's property where they access it, and we're getting the water out of her area and off of the right of way. And so there are 4 pipes there that are 4-inch ADS corrugated pipes, and we found those when we started clearing that area. He has directly piped that water underneath the fence to where it dumps. It daylights right onto the easement, and it impacts her home. So we came up with a temporary fix, and I don't think that they're actually the kind of friendly over the fence kind of neighbors, because he's had some issues where he went in and took out a huge oak, cemented in a lot of his property, and this letter here that the doctor submitted talks about the fact that now, after he re-engineered his backyard, it's actually 4 feet higher than it was when she first moved in. She was friends with the neighbor before. I believe his name was Charles Allen. He's an attorney. I think he actually did some work with the city as well. But the doctor's letter is kind of succinct, and it would give you a great overview of the kind of situation she's had to deal with. She doesn't feel like the burden should be on her. It's pretty obvious what's going on here. When I spoke with the city and was trying to get a permit for this, the doctor was pretty sure that in the original agreement, it was a 99-year agreement, that she was allowed to make improvements. And I'm so glad that, we went through this process, because I've been since corrected and told that she is not allowed to make any improvements other than the ones that were specified in that original agreement. And we're glad to know that, because it's a fairly expensive project. And we just want to, solve the problem with the drainage and do some improvements to the easement. It's going to be beautiful. It's a great design. I think that, it'll serve the drainage issue. It'll solve that issue. And it'll also aesthetically be much more pleasing than it is now. It's just an overgrown strip.
Is that
Okay.
fence line open like that right now?
What's his name?
Sir?
Is the fence line open like that right now?
No, it's
I don't know
not.
how old that picture is.
I was about to say, it doesn't look
He's
like
on
any
the-
of the, up until, I know those first couple of houses access their driveways from the back, but past that, the rest of those fences are just solid fences. There's not even gates, right?
No, that's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
And, I mean, there are, and I think Stanford articulated that, I mean,
Yeah.
there definitely, there's functional reasons even for the little retaining beds. I mean, it's mitigating the erosion.
Sure.
I mean, it's a slope, you can see from the pictures, every time it rains, there's mud that's on, her driveway from the easement. So, as much as something as the aesthetic part, we would the planter thing was just to tie in, help her just because of her need for, in gardening, but it also does serve the functional purpose of physically retaining that back and keeping that dirt. And it was put there too specifically because that'll help retain the soil in front of where she goes in and out of her house.
Yeah, but none of those people back there that have the fences, they're not coming out back gates into that
They
area.
would never even know,
That was
without being
really it.
insensitive to it, but
No.
they would never.
It's her
they'd never
driveway
see
to get to her
anything.
house.
Right,
back
yeah,
to her
yeah,
house.
and they would never be accessing it for any reason.
Okay, so you said there's a trench there now, and whatever they're doing has been approved, have they
They're asking
submitted
for it right now.
any, I mean?
Yeah, we haven't approved it because
Well, because we have to.
because it's working the right way.
Okay, but it will have to go through engineering in terms of the runoff and all that it'll have to meet whatever.
Well, yeah, I
engineering-
know, so what they're proposing is not the planters, but for the stormwater.
Yeah.
Just picking up some of these, pipes that come from under the
Right,
fence.
right.
And so they'll just tap into those and pick them
Into a
up and take
larger-
them to the
Okay. Okay.
end of each alley.
So it sounds like it would be a
Beneficial, yeah,
good
for
plan
sure.
for, okay.
It would go, just in full disclosure, on the front side of that home, it would stop, but it would be clean water emptying on to that driveway.
So you're just gonna
right there.
daylight it here?
Without coming, that would, no, the only way we could not do that is we'd have to cut the that's the
Right.
neighbors, I guess it's y'all's property, but so we would have to dump it, but there's plenty of fall, it could get, but at least then it would be clean water. And then from about where we're proposing those planters, you can see straight down the picture of the driveway, you can see what looks like a little rectangle, a little dark rectangle. That's actually a little head wall and port that drains to a large drainage ditch to the backside, and we would pipe to the other side. So this would improve y'all's easement as well.
Okay, I don't have any more questions.
The houses appear to be owned by an investment entity. So whatever's in between two, Edgewood Capital is the entity. So anyway.
The house we're talking about?
I can't hear you,
No,
Johnny.
no, the ones
The
that.
ones up front, yeah, front.
The neighbors.
That doesn't, okay, that doesn't have anything.
Okay.
I'm just looking
Should
at the
I
tax
just
record.
submit a letter to you guys?
You can give it
or-
to, you can give it to, Robert, and he can add it to the record, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'd make a motion, if there's no further discussion, to approve request of the work in the right-of-way, 306 Kenilworth.
Motion
Second.
to approve by Counselor Gare, second by Counselor Nelms, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 4-0, and we stand adjourned.
Okay, I
Oh.
have one question. What I'm saying, the resolution is going to permit landscape and drainage work as identified by Exhibit A pursuant to permits issued by the building company.
So it would capture their illustrations and design.
Be that,
Yep.
that's it.
Who's the first?
So don't start yet.
Okay, thank you.
The full council will approve it in a week.
All right.
And then we'll.
With that, we
Yeah.
stand adjourned.